Welcome to the Joyful Alchemist, the podcast where transformation meets inspiration. My name is Lynn Falconer, your guide on this journey of turning life's ordinary moments into extraordinary magic. Here we dive into personal growth, spiritual insights, and practical tools to help you unlock joy, purpose, and abundance. Whether you're seeking clarity, courage, or connection, this is your space to explore, evolve, and embrace the alchemy of joyful living. Let's ignite transformation, one powerful conversation at a time. February 6. Bread from Heaven. The Israelites left Elim, moving together as one people into the wilderness of Sin, a barren expanse between Elim and Mount Sinai. It had been exactly 1 month and 15 days since they had fled Egypt, yet their journey had turned from triumph to hardship. Hunger gnawed at them, and soon their complaints reached Moses and Aaron. "Why did we leave Egypt?" the people grumbled. "At least there we had pots filled with meat and as much bread as we could eat. Now you've led us into the wilderness to die of hunger." Hearing their cries, the Lord spoke to Moses, "I will rain down bread from heaven. Each day the people must gather only what they need. This will test their obedience. On the 6th day they must gather twice as much, for the 7th day will be a day of rest." That evening a flock of quails descended upon the camp, and by morning the ground was covered with something delicate and white, like frost. The Israelites stared in confusion. "What is it?" they asked each other. Moses answered, "This is the bread the Lord has given you. Gather only what you need. Do not save any for the next day." Some, however, did not listen. They hoarded the manna, only to find it spoiled by morning, crawling with worms. Yet on the 6th day, when they collected twice the usual amount, the extra portion remained fresh, just as Moses had said, for the 7th day was to be a day of rest. The people called this miraculous food manna, and they ate it every day for 40 years, until they reached the land of Canaan. Water from the rock. The journey continued and the people moved on to Rephidim. But here there was no water, and once again fear and anger surged among them. "Give us water to drink," they demanded of Moses. Moses sighed, exhausted by their doubts. "Why do you test the Lord?" he asked, but they would not be pacified. "Have you brought us out of Egypt only to let us, our children, and our livestock die of thirst?" Desperate, Moses called out to the Lord, "What should I do with these people? They are ready to stone me." The Lord answered, "Take your staff, the one you used to strike the Nile, and go before the people, bringing the elders of Israel with you. At Horeb you will find a rock. Strike it, and water will flow." Moses did as he was commanded, and from the rock fresh water gushed forth, quenching the people's thirst. They named the place Massah and Meribah, for it was there they tested the Lord, asking, "Is the Lord among us or not?" Victory over Amalek. Not long after, the Amalekites attacked Israel at Rephidim. Moses called upon Joshua, "Choose our best warriors and prepare for battle. Tomorrow I will stand on the hilltop holding the staff of God." Joshua led the army into battle, while Moses, accompanied by Aaron and Hur, climbed to a high place. As long as Moses held up his hands, Israel triumphed. But as he grew weary and lowered them, Amalek gained the upper hand. Seeing this, Aaron and Hur found a stone for Moses to sit on. Then they stood on either side, holding up his hands until sunset. Joshua and his warriors overwhelmed Amalek, securing victory. The Lord then instructed Moses, "Write this down as a lasting record. I will erase Amalek from memory." Moses built an altar there, naming it Jehovah Nissi. The Lord is my banner. Jethro's wise counsel. Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, and the priest of Midian, heard of the great wonders the Lord had performed. He came to visit Moses, bringing along Zipporah, Moses' wife and their 2 sons Gershom and Eliezer. Moses greeted Jethro with respect, recounting the miracles God had performed in Egypt. Jethro rejoiced, offering sacrifices in gratitude. The next day, Jethro observed Moses spending long hours resolving disputes among the people. Concerned, he said, "You cannot do this alone. You will wear yourself out. Choose wise and trustworthy men to serve as judges over the people, rulers of thousands, hundreds, 50s, and 10s. Let them handle minor disputes, and only the most difficult cases will come to you." Moses listened and followed Jethro's advice, appointing leaders to share the burden. With his counsel given, Jethro departed for his homeland. God's covenant at Mount Sinai. 3 months after leaving Egypt, the Israelites arrived at Mount Sinai. They set up camp at the base of the mountain, and Moses ascended to speak with the Lord. The Lord called to him from the mountain, "Tell the people, you have seen how I delivered you from Egypt and carried you on eagle's wings. Now, if you obey my voice and keep my covenant, you will be my chosen people, a kingdom of priests, a holy nation." Moses returned to the camp and relayed the message. The people responded in unison, "We will do everything the Lord has said." The Lord then commanded Moses, "Have the people prepare themselves. In 3 days I will descend upon the mountain in their sight. They must wash their clothes and set themselves apart. No one may touch the mountain until the appointed time." On the 3rd day, thunder and lightning filled the sky, and a thick cloud descended upon the mountain. A loud trumpet blast rang out, causing the people to tremble. Moses led them to the base of the mountain, where they stood in awe. Mount Sinai was engulfed in smoke as the Lord descended in fire. The mountain shook violently, and the trumpet grew louder. Then God spoke, and Moses answered him. The Lord called Moses up and said, "Warn the people not to force their way up the mountain, or they will perish. Only Aaron may accompany you." Moses returned to the people and delivered the Lord's words, preparing them for what was to come. Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Joyful Alchemist, where transformation and joy collide. If today's episode inspired you, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a moment of magic. Keep shining, keep growing, and remember, you have the power to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Until next time, stay joyful and keep alchemizing your dreams into reality.